So with that, let's move on to today's presentation or topic, which is iPhone 5 and iOS 6 for all the other devices, including iPhone 5. I'm going to start with the iPhone 5, the hardware itself, then I'll talk about iOS 6 features that are specific to the phone, and then I'll go over the rest of the features that are for iPad, iPod Touch, and older iPhones. I didn't write, I got the iPhone 5 on day one, but I didn't write my review on my blog for it for weeks, like almost a month. And when I finally got around to writing that review, I realized there wasn't a whole lot to say. Because this is something I realized about Apple products or just electronics in general, is that there is typically a revolution. iPhone 2007, revolution, changed the way smartphones will be from now on, or from that point on. And if we go back and we look at that first iPhone, that's what it looks like. That was the iPhone back in 2007. Bigger, heavier, but for the most part, not a whole lot has changed to today. It's got buttons on the side. It's got a touch screen. It's got a home button. It's got a speaker. It's got a camera. It's got a microphone. And you can make calls with it even. That's it.
And you can figure out how to make calls on it.
Yes. So now, have a lot of little things change? Oh, absolutely. We've had years of a lot of little things change, a lot of great little things changing. This phone, you couldn't buy apps. There was no such thing as buying apps back then. This phone, there was no even way of rearranging the apps that you already had. They were there. That was it. There was no multiple app screens because that's all it came with. So when we think about that, there was no running two apps at the same time. When we think about that, it's like, oh my God, this is barbaric. How could anyone use this device back then? But that was, back then, cutting edge. There was nothing like it. And today, most people would not even want to touch one of these anymore because it was just so limited by today's standards. Now, if we go to today, thinner, lighter, more icons, more apps, more processor power, more memory, but guess what? It's got buttons on the side, it's got a home button at the bottom, it's got a microphone, it's got a camera, it's got a speaker, and you can make calls on it. That's what happens. So I always laugh a little bit inside when people get all up in arms about what the next one's going to be, and then they're disappointed that it didn't have all these magical things that they thought it was going to have, that Apple never said it was going to have, by the way. And it's like, well, what were you expecting? It's an evolution of the same thing that we've had since 2007. So when I remember right before the announcement came out of the 5, I think I did a post on my Facebook page or Twitter or something. Looking forward to the new iPhone 5. Here are the features I'm looking forward to the most. Bigger screen, faster, 4G LTE, and maybe one or two other things. And it's so funny, it had all of those things. Why did I know it was going to have all those things? Because those were the logical next things for it to have. I wasn't expecting some radical departure, some new phenomenal, holographic display that the technology is just not there for. So when we look at these devices going forward, and now the next new rumored device is an iPad mini. And guess what? It's going to have icons. It's going to have a home button. It's going to have a speaker. You're going to have, your apps on it, and it's going to be smaller. That's pretty much it. And that's what we have to get used to, is that, yes, we always love those new revolutionary things, But after that revolution, Apple can't pull a revolution out of their whatever every year. So it's going to be, now let me go on record today. There's going to be a new iPhone next year. I'm guessing it's going to be a 5S. And it's going to have buttons on the side, home button, speakers, a microphone, a nice screen, and it'll make calls. Now let's see if I'm wrong next year. Okay. Okay, good. So when you start to see all the rumors, do what I do. Just laugh. Laugh a little bit and say, okay, you guys don't know, you're just guessing, and we'll see it when it really comes out. And it will be a nice evolution of what we already had, with a few nice new features that we want. And you can apply that to everything. Cars, cameras, DVRs. They come out with the next new one that has a few more things that the old one didn't have that are nice. And you decide to buy them or not. So it took me almost a month to write the review because there wasn't a whole lot to say. Is it faster? Yep. Is it lighter? Noticeably. I did notice it the minute I picked it. Oh, yeah, this is definitely lighter than the 4S. Is the screen nice? Yep. To make calls? Yeah, I tried that too. It makes good calls. Does it have a better camera? Front facing? Yes. Rear camera's pretty much the same. Supposedly it does better low light. I haven't seen that to be the case. But that's a software feature. That's in the 4S too. So that's what I mean. That's it. I've given you the review. Yes, it's got a lot of nice little things. Oh, and a new connector. That's great. Small connector. I love the size of it. Matter of fact, the pictures don't do it justice.
Pictures make it look big.
Yeah, the pictures make it look much bigger than it is. But this is it. We went from this to that.
Oh, but you have to buy them separately.
Oh, yeah, it comes with one.
Is there an adapter for that?
There is an adapter.
On your other devices?
Yeah,
Like your
yes.
radios and things?
Yes. $29.
There's an adapter. Now, do I like the new connector? Yes, I like the new connector because, first of all, it's ambidextrous, I guess is the best way to put it. You don't have to plug it in a certain way. It goes in either way. So there's no up or down. Love that. Love the fact that it's smaller and takes up less space. Hate the fact that I still have to keep these around because that doesn't use the new connector yet. So we're in a transition where everything Apple makes from here on out is going to be on the new connector. But until you have upgraded everything you own, which will be years for most people, you're going to have both. You're going to have some stuff using the old connector and the new stuff you buy using the new connector. So, great new connector, yes. Painful, meaning just having to have both cables around, both things around, adapters around, transition for the next year or so. At least until the new full-size iPad comes out for me. Okay. Well, let me say one more thing. So, at the end of that review, I always answer the question, should you buy one? Should you upgrade? And for the last few iPhones, my answer has always been the same. If you're on the previous model, like the one that just came out a year ago, probably not. Like if you're on a 4S, I can't really, in good faith, say, oh no, you should go to a 5. Because chances are, if you're on a 4S, you haven't completed your contract for that 4S, and you're going to pay more to get a 5. A lot more, yes. Because you have to, you bought your 4S at a subsidy price, most likely, of $199, $299, $399, whatever it was, And until you complete 2 years of that contract, you won't be able to get that $199 or $299 or $399 pricing. So are you willing to pay $399 or $499 or $599 for those subtle changes and differences? Probably not.
Plus an early termination fee.
Oh, yeah, that could even be implied as well. So, well, there won't let you?
Well,
I can't imagine you saying, I've got all the money you want, sell me this phone, and they say no.
but they will not let you get the upgrade price at that $199.
Oh, well, no, right, yeah. Because you haven't technically, the reason you got the $199 price is they're saying, we'll give it to you for $199, provided you keep using our service for 2 years. And when you're saying, well, now it's only been 12 months and I want the $199 again, you haven't paid for the phone yet. That was the bargain. You got the phone at a cheaper price for them to lock you in for 2 more years to pay for the phone. Because the phone itself costs $599, $699, $799 to buy it outright. And you got it for $199 on the premise that you would keep your contract for 2 years. Okay, so with that said, if you're on a 4, 3GS, 3G, and you're out of contract already, absolutely it's worth the upgrade. Because you're jumping 2 generations or more of phone, and you're getting a lot more features and a lot more speed than you had on that 2-generation old phone. So that was always my advice for the last at least 3 reviews, because the changes from 1 year to the next usually aren't significant enough to justify a several $100 tax on, or not even a tax, but a several $100 fee, penalty fee, that's a better way to say it, on just switching the technology 1 year old.
You can always sell it for more than what it costs.
Right. So I would, that's been my advice. If you're on a 4S, I'd wait, because there's going to be a 5S or something like that next year. Or if you're on a 4 or lower, then it's worth looking at. Okay. Still have a question? No? Whoever had a question over here. Okay. All right, so now let me answer Sally's question about the app before I go any further. Okay, Sally, here I am on my iPad, and that tapped out game, which is at the bottom there, second icon on the bottom, I did not like that game. So let's pretend that's your second app you want to get rid of. Hold your finger down on it. They will start to jiggle. Press the X. Wait a second. And it will ask you, do you want to delete it? And you say yes. That's simple. And then press the home key when you're done deleting or rearranging your apps. Now, that app I just deleted, whether it was free or whether I paid for it, I can always go re-download it. That was the one thing Apple did from day one when they started allowing you to add your own apps, is from day one, the App Store always let you re-download any previous purchases or downloads. So I go back to the App Store. If I paid $5.99 for that app, which I didn't, but if I did, I can download that app from now on at no additional price. So if I delete it today and decide 2 months from now I want it again, I just go download it again. I don't have to pay for it again, even if it's on a newer version. Okay, so let's get to the phone.
Excuse me, how would you put it back on?
I would, question was, how would I put it back on? I'd go to the App Store. I'd either search for it, or I would go to my purchase section, find it, and then download it again. But that's, you would go as if you you were going to buy it for the first time, but now it will say, instead of purchase or buy, it will say download or install, and you can just download it. All right. Yes?
Is there a way to have a program on the iPad without it showing that it's there?
No. Question was, is there a way to have a program or an app on your iPad without it showing that it's there? It will always show that it's there. You put it on a screen all by itself so far over that maybe somebody won't go over to look at it, but it's there. And you can bury it in a folder, but it's there. Okay. Okay, let's talk about some iPhone stuff first. First new feature of iOS 6, and someone mentioned it, panorama. But that's not an iPhone 5 specific feature. You can do this on a 4S. You can do this on any iPhone that has a dual processor. That's the limitation. So if your iPhone is older and has a single core processor, the feature is not there. If it has a dual core processor, the feature is there. I don't know when they started putting dual core processors in it, whether it was the 4 or the 4S. Someone will surely correct me or tell me. 4S. You sure? Wasn't the 4? Okay, so the 4S and 5 have this feature. So I bring up the camera, see you guys, and in the options, there is a button called Panorama. When I tap Panorama, what the iPhone will allow me to do is tap wherever I start, and I just basically pan, and it is taking a panorama shot. And when I say done, that picture is there. Now, what I love about that, I have maybe 2 panorama apps that I've now deleted because none of them were this fast or this good. So having that feature built in is way better than the apps I had for it.
How do you access that again?
Options, panorama. Now, here's a tip. Notice I went from left to right because that's the way the arrow is telling me. What if I, for whatever reason, had to start on this side? Tap the arrow.
Oh my God.
Goes the other way. You can take your panorama that way.
Everything else feels follow instructions.
There's no instruction for that. It's hidden. All right. So panorama feature in iOS 6, not specific to the 5. Oh, and by the way, before I go any further, that's another thing that Apple does that, people will argue Android's this or cheaper or, Windows Phone is this or whatever. In most cases, when Google comes out with a brand new operating system, like a 3.0 or 4.0, there's only a small segment of devices that can upgrade and take full functionality of that feature set. If you were on a 4 or 4S or higher or 5, especially on a 4S, and you upgrade to iOS 6, you've got all the great stuff, except for the hardware improvements, except for the taller, display with now 5 icons instead of 5 rows of icons instead of 4. You've got everything except for the processors, the better camera, and the physical properties of the device. You've got the features. So, they don't obsolete their equipment as quickly as other phone manufacturers do. Next, let's talk about Passbook. Passbook is one of those things I was really excited about, but like a lot of things in iOS, are slow to take off because it takes time for the developers to all update their apps to take advantage of it. Now, what is Passbook? First of all, Passbook is an application. I've got it in a folder here. I've got it in my On the Road folder. And when you launch it, it will be empty because it doesn't put any passes in there automatically. You have to have apps that support it. So the only way to get stuff in your Passbook is if you have an app that supports Passbook or a website that supports Passbook. So for example, you see American Express there. American Express's app doesn't support Passbook. They had a feature that you could go to on their mobile website and add your accounts in to Passbook. So now every time I use my American Express cards, I get a little alert that pops up, and if I tap the alert, it takes me to that pass, shows me my current balance, and that charge that was just made on my card. And that's not an app, that's just something they did off their website. However, something like Walgreens This was from their app. So this is my Walgreens Balance Rewards card. You know, you get discounts or whatever when you go and you scan the card at the register. They keep track of your purchases and offer you discounts. But I don't really shop a lot at Walgreens. I shop mostly at CVS. Can't do it. Not through Passbook anyway. Because the CVS app doesn't support Passbook yet. So I can't add my CVS card into Passbook until they do. Now, I recently took a flight on United. I normally fly Delta, but this one flight I was on was United, and United's app lets you add your boarding pass to Passbook. And if you're thinking, well, if the boarding pass is already in their app, why do I need it in Passbook? Because Passbook will do things the app won't. For example, when you get near that airport that you're flying out of, you get a little thing on your screen saying, here's your boarding pass, swipe to see it. You get the gate information on your boarding pass. You get basically, and of course the barcode to check in. So I like it in Passbook better for the simple reason it's just easier to access than finding it in the app. And Delta's is the worst because if you haven't launched their app in a while, it has to download all your itineraries. It has to go check to make sure and download everything, which if you're headed to the gate or headed to check in, you're going to want that information sooner than later. So I can't wait for theirs to be in Passbook. So and Starbucks. So my Starbucks card is there. If I tap it, it would bring it up. I could check out at the register at most Starbucks, and it will deduct the balance of whatever I just bought off my card. But to reload the card, I have to go to the Starbucks app to do it. So this doesn't replace the need for those apps on your device. It just lets you access quickly the cards, coupons, tickets, boarding passes, whatever that app supports, faster than going into the individual apps to get those things. That's what Passbook is all about. I expect by this time next year, we won't know how we live without it because there will be so many things that support it. But right now, the support is very, very limited. Okay, yes.
I'm old school and I'm worried about security still.
Okay.
Convince me that it's secure for me.
I can't convince you that anything you do is secure. Matter of fact, on this iPad right now, I'm in your bank account and I can't imagine the stuff you buy. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm looking at the stuff that you buy right now. It's like that. Okay, so nothing is secure. Just look at it that way. Nothing you do is secure. If somebody wants in, they'll get in. So this is no more or no less secure than anything else you're doing. That's the way I look at security. Chances are, if you already have your stuff online electronically in some form or fashion, this isn't hurting you or helping you anymore security-wise, because they could already get in, and this would be the last way they would get in. They'd get in through other ways. Okay, now let's tackle the big one, Maps. Apple's Maps app. All right, you see the icon, second row, second icon. It says Maps. Up until this year, that has always been for Google Maps since day one, since 2007. Apple kicked Google out and replaced it with their own. And they learned a lesson. They learned that maps aren't as easy as you might think. And they learned that Google has had years of this. And they're basically at Maps 1.0 and Google is at Maps whatever, version 10. Because they've been doing maps for a very, 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 very long time. So why would Apple do that? Why would they get rid of Google's maps, which are tried and tested and proven, for their own, which are untried, untested, and flawed? Nope, not necessarily green. Not ego. Exactly, because Google's competitive. They make Android.
But they won't give Apple the voice activated directions.
Give?
And when to use it.
Are you sure?
That's
Okay. I don't know the legal reasons, but Google's a competitor, plain and simple. And Apple doesn't want to keep supporting competitors. So two things happened with iOS 6. Not only did they replace Maps, but YouTube is no longer a part of the OS. So if you want the YouTube app, which I have, you actually go download it from the App Store. Because Google did come out with a YouTube standalone app for iOS. Unfortunately, it's not iPad native yet. It works, but it's just in a small window. But on the phone, it's great, or iPod Touch, it's great. Okay, so here we go, Maps. And let's find our current location. And here we are. Okay, and you will hear that a lot. Like most things, who are the most vocal? People that are having problems. People that aren't having problems don't chime in on the forums and say, they don't wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh my God, my maps are working great. Because you expect them to work. So you don't make an effort to go tell the world that it's working. Why wouldn't it? But people that are having problems, those are the ones that are going to be vocal, because those are the ones that are upset. So he just said he completed a 4,800-mile trip using Apple Maps and didn't have a single problem. I don't doubt that. Good. But I will also give my own testimony that I have had problems on simple things. Like, for example, let me back up a minute. Google Maps on iOS has always been mostly for me information. Like I could search for a business and it would show me where it is on the map. And yeah, it would offer directions, but I never used that anyway because I have navigation apps for that. But it would give me the information, give me the hours, let me call it. That's what I use Google Maps for, almost all the time. I never used it because it never had turn-by-turn voice navigation. So I never tried to do any more with it than that purpose. So when Apple came out with their own mapping solution that was going to offer turn-by-turn, I thought, great. This will be fantastic for the people that never bought or downloaded a separate navigation app. I never had any intention of replacing the one I was already using because I'm very happy with Navigon, which is the one I use. But I did try it. The reason I tried it is because the one thing Apple Maps is great at that none of the third-party ones, I don't know if they'll ever be able to do, is it's tied into Siri. So I can say voice by voice, navigate to such and such address or such and such business, and it will bring up maps, find it, and then start navigating me to it without me having to touch anything else on the phone. That's awesome. Now I'm going to show you a tip for that later to make it work with other apps. But so I tried that. There was one time I was coming off an expressway. I knew the business I was going to was on Rochester Road. I didn't know if it was left of me or right of me. And I didn't want to have to stop and pull over and figure it all out. So Siri, voice control, dialing, driving safely, navigate to, gave it the address, and it took me there. With one problem. It was to the right of me, so by the time I had got it up, I had already thought it was left and had made the wrong turn. That was my fault. Okay, so turned around, I'm going the right way now. And I'm not looking at my screen because I'm driving. So it said, go up a half mile and make a U-turn. I'm thinking when I get up to the half mile and make the U-turn, the business is right there. Because why else would you have me go a half mile? So I go the half mile, make the U-turn, and then I glance at the screen and I see the little blue line for where you're supposed to go was parallel to the line I had just went. So in other words, it was taking me all the way back a half mile back the other way. It took me a half mile out of the way to make the U-turn. I could have made the U-turn right in front of the business. But for whatever reason, it thought I had to go all the way up a half mile and make the U-turn and come all the way back. Now, was that the end of the world? No. But was it correct? No. Because there was no reason to take me a mile out of my way. So there are little things like that people are running into. That was a little one for me. Other people run into bigger ones. where mostly what I'm hearing is that the stuff they're searching for just isn't there. So like where Google Maps is tied into Google search, so when you search for a business, it's most likely going to find it. Whereas when in Apple Maps you're searching for something, it's just not there yet. Now Apple is updating this stuff every day. You don't need a software update for it because it's pulling this stuff off their servers anyway. So as they continue to add and fix and make things better, I imagine Maps over the next few months will just continue to get better. But for right now, it is problematic for some. Not for everyone. 4,800-mile trip, no problem. Most of the time with me, no problem. But I have seen it not be great.
Since I haven't seen the new Maps app, does the new Apple Maps offer street view options like Google does, or that they haven't gotten that far yet?
No street view, because that's a Google thing. Yeah. So what Apple does is a couple things. Let's see. Let's find how about Golden Gate Bridge? Okay, there's Golden Gate Bridge. Now, if I go to my 3D view, it will show me the 3D view of it. If I go to satellite, it'll show me the satellite, and the little icon in the lower left corner, the little arrows show me where I'm currently located. The one next to it, you'll either see 3D or you'll see the little buildings. The little buildings, and this is why I picked Golden Gate because I knew it had it, is a flyover view. So you're actually able to fly over vector maps of what this looks like. So that's the bridge just went away for a second. That's that's their answer to Street View. But see, this isn't in all locations. If I were to say find Birmingham Temple, yeah, I would find it, but it wouldn't give me this aerial photographic view because they haven't done it for every location yet. So that feature is going to be hit or miss by location.
And that's not a photograph.
No, that's right. It's rendering it.
Is it only US or is it international?
It is international, and your mileage will vary as far as what you see and what you don't see. Because again, it's only based on what they've got done so far.
You get traffic.
Yes, it has live traffic, so show traffic. Yellow means, or green, there we go. I haven't figured out the colors yet. I haven't figured out the colors yet. I would imagine red is busy traffic, yellow and green are moderate traffic. But it has traffic. It also lets you print, lets you see a hybrid or satellite view just like Google did. And if I say, let's do a navigation real quick. Let's find out where we are first. So now I just had to take me back to the regular location of where we are. And see the buildings went away. Now it says 3D because it doesn't have an aerial shot or aerial mapping information of this building. So it can't give me that 3D or that rendering of what we're looking at from an aerial view. Now, let's see. Let's try this. Navigate to Cobo Hall.
I couldn't find any places matching Cobo Hall.
If I said Google, find Cobo Hall, it would.
Is it Cobo Center now or Cobo something else?
Okay, let's try it. Navigate to Cobo Conference Center.
I found 15 conference centers matching Cobo. Tap the one you want directions to.
Let's try this. Navigate to 313 Michigan Avenue.
Sorry, I couldn't find 313 Michigan Avenue, Farmington Hills.
But you guys telling me.
All right. Navigate to 313 Michigan Avenue, Detroit.
Getting directions to 313 Michigan Avenue, Detroit.
Make a U-turn at the Golden Gate.
All right. So there's the route.
Starting route to 313
Now it's giving me the
Michigan
voice by voice, or
Detroit.
turn-by-turn
Head
directions.
north on Greencastle Road.
All right. So it's giving me the directions now. At this point, I would just start driving, and it would continue to give me voice information. By the way, the one thing that I looked at right off the bat, or was looking for right off the bat when I saw this, was how long? How long is it going to take me to get there? Because most of, all GPS apps will tell you so many miles, it'll take you so long to get there. Just tap, and that information is at the top. So ETA, I'll be there at 4:21 if I left now. It's 26 minutes, 20.2 miles.
Can you download the Google? Is there a Google app that you can put on there?
Oh, no. So, I don't use this for navigation because I already had a navigation app that works great. But I do like the Siri aspect of it when it works. So I thought, and Jack and I experimented with this, how can we get this to work? I came up with the original concept. He added one that made it even better. Let's go back. Let's end this, and let's go back.
Terry, can you use Siri while you're in Maps?
Yeah, you can use Siri. You can use Siri. Period. Doesn't matter where you are. Yeah, but you don't. You can use it anywhere. You don't have to be in Maps to do that. All right. So let's do this. Let's do the same thing again. Navigate to 313 Michigan Avenue in Detroit by train. There's a reason for that. No.
Getting directions to 313 Michigan Avenue, Detroit.
Now, instead of trying to route me through it, it can't. Because the Apple Maps doesn't have local transit. It doesn't have by bus. It doesn't have by train. So the minute I throw that into it, it says, I can't do that. I'm going to offer you apps that can, including my Navigon app, which I have the public transit feature built in or paid for into that. So if I say route by Navigon, I tap the button, right?
That's not a requirement, though. It'll work whether you're not by.
Someone said it didn't work for them if they didn't have that.
It does.
Okay.
Because it knows that it can do it.
Oh, and it won't mirror this, but I can now say start navigation in my Navigon app and have the best of both worlds. This will work. This will not take me on wild goose chases most of the time. And I got to use Siri to do it. I just had to tap a button once Siri found it. So, go ahead.
I have a favorite cider mill that I always forget the name, and I always forget the address. But it's in my contacts with the nickname of Cider Mill. So when I tell Siri to navigate to Cider Mill, she sets up map to navigate to Cider Mill.
Yes, and it will.
Anything is in your contacts.
Yeah, you can say navigate home, navigate to my work, navigate to my sister's house. As long as you've identified those relationships, Siri will know to look up that contact and navigate you to. But if you add the public transit thing on the end, by train, by bus, then it will let you use another app once it's identified the location and put that information right in the other app, which is great.
If you're using that to drive, is it burning your battery like you go a 3-hour ride?
Okay, question is, if you're using this while you're driving, let's say you're on a 3-hour drive, does it burn your battery? Yes and no. Yes, if you leave the screen on and you're looking at the map the whole time. Obviously the screen's on, therefore it's going to drain the battery faster. So I don't use this in my car without plugging it in. But I know with Apple's app, you can have the screen off and it will continue to give you a voice navigation. It will even show you, I haven't tested this, but someone I talked to said it even shows you the last turn or the next turn while you're in the lock screen, which the other apps don't. And I've tried Navigon with not being in the Navigon app with the screen off. Does that work? Jack?
You still get the voice direction.
That's what I mean, yeah. Okay, so you can, if you don't have a charger in your car, then I would say let the screen, or get out of the app to let the screen go dark, or lock it, so that you still can hear the voice directions, but you won't be using up the screen, therefore using up battery. Yeah, just press the button on top, correct. Okay, any other questions on maps? That's pretty much it. It's gonna take time for them to fix all the little things, and luckily they can just continue to work on it in the background without you having to continue downloading software updates. Okay, next. Jack, can you call me? There's a feature I want to show you, but I can't show you unless, I think my phone even has to be on the lock screen for this to work.
Which of the 5,000 numbers?
631. Nope.
Is that new at 6?
Yes. Okay, well, the feature I'm trying to get Jack to, or when he calls for it to pop up, is in the past, you only had an option in iOS if you received a call to either answer it or decline it. And if you know, of course, if you declined it, it went to voicemail. If you answered it, you're talking. Now you have an option of tapping to have it reply with one of 3 pre-canned messages. It will send a text message to that person, like, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back. Or I can't talk right now, I'll call you back. Or I'm driving, I can't talk right now, I'll call you back. Whatever your messages are, you can configure those whatever you want. Or you can tap to set up a reminder. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe up and reply with message. I'm in a meeting, I'll call you later. So that declines the call, stops it from ringing, sends him a message so he knows that I'm in a meeting. Pardon? It gives you 3 stock messages, but you can edit them if you go to settings and you go to phone. You can reply with message and change them to whatever you want them to be, your 3 choices. And you only get 3.
Is that a spoken message in case somebody's calling from a regular phone without?
Nope, it's a text message. Yep. All right. Next.
I have one question.
Yes.
The icons on the screen like that, in the bottom row, second to the left, you have 26 there next to your mail. Is that unread messages?
26 unread messages, correct, and 1 unanswered phone call, and 2 unanswered. His question was, at the bottom where it says 26, is that 26 unread messages? And yes, it is. And at the top left, that's 2 unread text messages. And at the bottom, that's 1 unanswered phone call. So I can go and look at any of those when I'm ready. Okay, next let's talk about settings, phone. Oh, there's a little, Bill, can you call me one more time? I never thought I would ever say that to Bill. See the little phone next to answer? Swipe up. Remind me to call him later when I leave. So now I've just set up a location reminder. So when I leave the building, it'll pop up saying, call Bill Carver, and offer me to just tap and call him. Okay, moving on.
You said those are text messages?
The replies are text messages.
So they don't have a, got it. They're calling you from their own phone, you landline.
Well, you'll see that when it pops up where they're calling you from. It'll say Don Work or Don Mobile, whatever you've got them set up for in your contacts. If they're calling you from another number that you don't know, then you're taking your chances. Right. And worst case is they go to voicemail, didn't get your message. Okay, let's do something in mail real quick. There's 2 things. You see the VIP? You can now designate contacts as VIPs. And what that means is when you receive an email from those contacts, they will automatically be in a special VIP mailbox. And they'll have a little star next to their name. So I have one email from a VIP that's unread. What I mean, what I look at as VIPs is all my other email can wait. But if I receive something from a VIP, I probably want to look at it sooner than later. So who do I mark as VIPs? Family members, the boss, whoever. Those people that I need to look at right away. And it's from my sister. Okay. So how do you do that? Let's go to contacts and let's go find, there we go. Add to VIP. So you tap on the person who emailed you in the email, and then there will be an add to VIP button in that contact that comes up. And I was looking for it in the regular contacts, didn't see it, but it is definitely in the mail you received. And you can do it also, you can set these up if you're running Mountain Lion, you can also do these in your Mountain Lion mail, and I believe in Mountain Lion address book too. Now, once you add someone, of course, once I say add, then it changes to remove. So if I no longer think this person is a VIP, I can remove them from the VIP list. And all that simply does is just automatically identify those emails you receive from those email addresses in your VIP mailbox. And again, if you see a list of emails of other people, theirs will have a little star by it. That's it. So
where's the mailbox come up?
When you go all the way back to your mailboxes, you'll see VIP. All right. The other thing that's changed while we're at it is they added a flagged mailbox. You always had the ability, or you've had the ability for a few versions now, to flag a message, but now it has its own box. So if you wanted to quickly get to all your flagged messages, you could do that. All right.
It also consolidates, so if you have multiple email accounts,
yes, right. So it's a unified flag and a unified VIP as well. So if you have VIPs and flags from different accounts, you see them all in one spot. Good addition to that. All right, photo streams, shared photo streams. Now, you know my history of photo stream. Hated version 1, hated, didn't use it. It got better once they allowed you to be able to manually delete photos, but still not great because you had to manually delete photos if you didn't want them in there. Now they've added something to the mix called shared photo stream. So when you go to your photos, you have your albums and you have photo stream. And this will be blank if you haven't created any. When you go to create a photo stream, first thing it's asking you is, who do you want to share it with? And what do you want to call it? From that point on, you've got a special album on your device. It is, by the way, synced with all your other devices. That any photos you add, that person gets a little alert message, or those people that you've added, on their devices saying, Terry's added a new photo to the such and such photo stream. They can tap, they can look at that photo, they can download that photo, they can comment on that photo, and they can like that photo. Now, I think this is actually great. I use this all the time because it allows me to share specific pictures with specific people without me having to really email them or message them or do anything extra. The only thing I wish it had now, it's like almost perfect. The only thing I wish it had is I wish it was two-way. It's one way. So if I set up a shared photo stream with Steve, I can put all the pictures in it all day long I want. He sees them, but he can't add any. So he'd have to make a new one and share it with me. I don't know why they don't let you just check a box that says it's two-way and let the other person be able to add to it too.
How do you put a picture into that?
Okay, so let's make a shared photo stream and let's call it, here, I'll share one with, tap the add button, the plus sign, in photo stream. All right, we'll do Apple to Apple Inc. I'm just trying not to expose anyone's email address. We'll do test. Okay, so that created this test photo stream. So now when I go to it, If I want to add photos to it, I can either add them from one of two places. I can add them in the photo stream itself, now that I'm here, or I can go to my Photos app, click on a photo, and then use the share button to share it to a photo stream. But since I'm here, I'll go edit, add, and then it brings up all my pictures, my camera roll, including that panel we just shot. And I can do the tram that I did in the Detroit airport. And now those two photos have been shared to Apple at apple.inc if they ever accept this, which they won't.
Is that only on the phone or is it on the MacBook Pro and the?
That is in iPhoto and Mountain Lion and iPad and iPod Touch as well.
Do they have to have iCloud turned on, they have to be using iCloud?
Do they have to be using iCloud? I don't know. I don't know if they have to be using iCloud to see your shared photo stream. I know they have to be on the latest versions of everything, but I don't know if they have to actually be using iCloud. Well, that's if you... They're going to, well, it depends. If they are on iOS 6, they're going to get an alert. They're going to get an email. Yes, they're going to email you, right? And then they click on it. But then it's going to take them to their Photos app and let them subscribe to it. I don't know what happens if they don't have the latest and greatest. Okay, I'll do that.
So this doesn't work with someone who has a PC?
Nope. Well, unless you do it as a website. Then they're just looking at it online. So there was an option when I created the photo stream. Here, we'll go back and create another one. There was an option to make it a public website. If you do that, then anyone can see it. Go ahead.
Open my photo screen. There's no plus sign at the top.
You open your photos. You're on iOS 6. There's no plus sign up here in the upper left? Because you're in a photo stream already. Back out.
Okay, I go to camera roll. Now you would now make a new one?
Yes. That's what I did. I added a new photo stream.
There's no way to take a photo stream that you have already and share it?
No.
No.
You have to make a new shared photo stream. And then you can share those pictures right into it.
Oh, okay. That's what I want to know.
Okay, so Bill Carver just sent me one. Here, let's do this. So there's Bill's. And that's the email I got that he shared a photo stream with me. So if I tap on join this photo stream, what I don't know what will happen is if you don't have the latest and greatest, or you're on a PC or whatever, and you click that, what will you get? That's what I don't know.
Photo stream is supported on Windows if you have the iCloud control panel.
All right, so here comes the Bill Carver photo stream with the one picture he just shared. And I can say that I like that. I can put a comment on it if I want, and I can download it if I want, but I can't, and I can even share it myself to other photo streams or print it or email it or whatever, but I can't add my photo back into it.
How did you add the picture to it?
I didn't. He sent me a photo stream. All right. I can't, that's what I'm saying. I can't add one to his photo stream. Okay.
You got a push notification too as soon as you
Yep. So, I love this. This is the photo stream I like because I control it. I decide what pictures go in it. I decide who sees it. Awesome. And by the way, all your shared photo streams, yours, and the ones you've accepted, show up on all your devices. So if I go back in now, there's the MacGroup photo stream on my iPhone. I didn't have to do anything extra. It's right there. Yeah, I can delete it if I want, or unsubscribe to it. Now, the other thing is, maybe forget. I get to control it. I get to put whatever pictures in it, and whatever else I was going to say wasn't important. Can't remember. Yes, you can share it with more than one person. So when you go to create it, you can, or later, you can add as many people to that shared photo stream as you want. Right now, I have one that I'm sharing with 3 different people. I just, like I said, I wish there was an option to make the person, or give the person authority to add to it. If they do that, then I will absolutely love photo stream.
One question.
Yes.
How do you get pictures from one, like camera or any photo screen to your, if you just
Tap the share button and you should see photo stream.
They're stored on your original, they're stored on your original device. Are they stored on the other device or are they stored in iCloud?
They're stored in iCloud. Question is, where are they stored? Now, here's the other interesting thing. In traditional albums on iOS, the ones you create on iOS, if you add a picture to an album and then go delete that picture out of the camera roll, it deletes it out of the album too. But if you add a picture to a photo stream and then go delete it out of your camera roll, it's still in the photo stream. So it is uploading that picture to iCloud and keeping it there. If you want it out of iCloud or out of the photo stream, you go delete it out of the photo stream. So I really, really like that, because that means you can have pictures and clear up space off your device, and they're still available in your photo stream.
Yeah, but how many megabytes can you upload?
Whatever your limit on your iCloud account is. Okay, that is shared photo streams. Yes. Yes. Okay, next. Let's go to settings. No, not Angry Birds. Let's go into, where is it? Ah, there it is. So what else has been added to iOS 6 is we had Twitter support in iOS 5. So that meant if you wanted to post a tweet, you can just do it right from Safari or right from a photo or right from Safari or photo. I think, is there any other place you could do it from? Photos, Safari, or other apps that support it, the built-in Twitter features. What they added in iOS 6 is Facebook support. So when you go to your settings and you tap Facebook, you can now create or set up your Facebook account and your Twitter accounts so that those are now native in the OS. So for example, if I go back to photos and I go back to that photo stream that Bill shared with me, and I like this picture so much I want to post it on Facebook, I don't have to go to the Facebook app to do it. I can tap Facebook right here from the shared icon. No, Facebook account is configured. Oh, I thought I did one already. All right, I'll do it on the phone. I haven't set it up on my iPad yet. So we'll go here. We'll go to photo stream, and you can't see it because it's mirroring. Okay, never mind. All right, I need a better example. Let's cancel this. Is there any way that this is going to... See, it's trying to present the photo to me. It's not showing me the interface. But let's do it from... I don't know if there's any other way to do it. All right, let's do it from a website. All right, so I'm in Safari. I have the MacGroup webpage up. If I tap the share button in the bottom center, I can now share the link to that page on my Facebook account by bringing up a Facebook post thing. And I can type in whatever message I want. Hey, check out MacGroup Detroit, add the current location I'm at right now. But the little paper clip is actually the URL. So when I post this to Facebook, they will actually be able to tap and go to this website that I was currently looking at. That also works for pictures, which I couldn't show you because it kept trying to present the picture. You wouldn't see the actual post thing.
Jerry, don't you in Facebook, is it necessary to share your contacts with Facebook?
It is not necessary to share your contacts with Facebook. So, for example, if I go to my settings here where I do have it set up, I have contacts turned off and calendar turned off for a very good reason. I have over 3,000 friends on Facebook with calendar and contacts turned on. All 3,000 of them are in my contacts, which I don't want. And all their birthdays are on my calendar, which I definitely don't want. It's on by default, so you need to, the minute you set it up, you need to quickly turn both of those off. Because I looked at my calendar with it on, not knowing any better, I couldn't see anything anymore. It was just blocks of gray because there were hundreds or dozens of birthdays on every single day. I couldn't even see my own appointments. So if you only have a few friends, that'll work out great. If you have lots of friends, you probably want to turn those off. Now, the thing I do like about it, though,
They go away when you undo it?
yeah, it just takes them right out of your contacts and right out of your calendars. You see where it says update all contacts. Even if I don't have contacts on, what that will do, and this is again a privacy thing, this is whether you want to do it or not, you're telling Facebook, I allow you to temporarily look at my contacts, temporarily being the key word, look at my contacts. If I don't have a picture for a contact and they're on Facebook, download their current profile picture and put it in my contacts. And it's a one-time shot. You can update it whenever you feel like it. And supposedly, they don't keep the information. Supposedly. But it is Facebook. Back to the security thing. So they don't have a good track record for not keeping things that they're not supposed to keep. But that is the Facebook integration. So it just makes it easier if you're a Facebook or Twitter person. It makes it easier to post from anywhere in iOS to one of those two social networks or both. Next. All right, so let's get into Siri. Now, we use Siri already for one thing. We used it to show that it can navigate now. You can say navigate to a physical address, a name of a business, a name of a contact. I think that's it for navigation. But it's also got improvements along the way for other things. And by the way, Siri for the first time is now on the new iPad. Is it on iPad 2 as well, or just the new one? So Siri comes up on the new iPad, as you can see there. So Siri on iPhone or new iPad can now do things like sports. And which, by the way, all right, I'll do it this way. Who won the Tigers game?
Detroit soundly defeated New York Bucks.
Oh, earlier it said it crushed New York. So you will get random things. So sports scores has been added. You get a nice player's card, or you get a nice card for the score. You also get player's cards. Name a player you want to know about. Name somebody. What is it? Give me one that Siri will understand me pronouncing. Calvin Young? Gelman Young. Show me Gelman Young's stats.
Okay, here's Gilman.
Yeah. Delman with a D. Show me Delman Young's stats.
Here's Delman Young.
Oh my God.
So, if you actually know the name and you say it right, you get nice. And I love the way they present the information. They present it like I said, a baseball card, a nice physical card. When do the Lions play next?
The Lions-Bears game is tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
So, if you're a sports fan, you'll love the new sports integration into Siri.
Can you print or save those graphics?
No. You can save the graphics by doing a screenshot, but there's no printing or any saving on the screen. How do you do a screenshot? You hold down the two buttons, and it takes a screenshot. You only have two. The home button and the top button, not the volume buttons. They're the same two since 2007. There, just do it. Here, it even makes a sound. There we go, took a screenshot.
I don't know what the screenshot is. What is that?
It's a picture of what's on the screen. So now it's in your camera roll, just like you took a picture with the camera. Yep. And I can even share that picture on a photo stream if I wanted to, for whatever reason. Okay. So yeah, once you save it as a screenshot, then you have the graphic to do whatever it is you wish. So, sports scores, player stats, game schedules, team rosters. Oh, show me the Tigers team roster.
Let's see. Here's the roster for the Tigers.
All right. Team rosters, league standings for baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and hockey. And that's sports. Okay, movies. What movies are playing near me?
Checking out movies in Farmington Hills. I found quite a number of movies playing nearby today.
All right, so let's say I wanted to see Paranormal Activity 4. I can tap on it. It shows me the stats about it. It shows me what theaters it's playing at the bottom. I can go pick whatever theater I want to go see it at, and then see the times. No TV integration with Siri yet.
Can you share that information?
No. Screenshot. That's it. No printing, sharing, no other thing.
Can you mail the screenshot?
Sure. It's a picture at that point. You do whatever you want.
You can also call people up and tell them.
Yes. But do I need another device for that?
When I go to movies with a friend, just call them up and say,
Yeah.
"I want to go see Paranormal Activity and play at 4:30 at the start."
Let's see.
Today's after will be at the AMC starts out.
Yes, I know. Trying to think what's around here that requires reservations. How about, okay.
Restaurant.
Hold on. Are there any tables open at Ocean Prime in Troy tonight?
Okay, Ocean Prime has some tables for 2 around 7 p.m.
Alright, cheers.
Now, I can say make the reservation right now. It'll open up the Open Table app. It actually make the reservation because I have an account set up in Open Table. So Siri is really nice when you use it right. And by the way, the reviews are here too, so I can tap the reviews, read the reviews.
It's like a nice restaurant.
It's a very nice, expensive restaurant, yes.
Jerry,
I can get
someone
it.
told me they couldn't get a reservation at a restaurant, and they used a Siri and Open Table and got the reservation. They have some that are reserved just for the Open Table.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love Open Table, it's great, but having it supported by Siri and is even better. All right, so you can send a tweet or post to Facebook. So I can say, send a tweet. I'm at the MacGroup meeting today till 5.
Here's your tweet. Ready to send it?
So if I hit send, it'll actually tweet it. Same thing for Facebook. You can say post to Facebook, whatever you want. It'll bring up the thing and you can say post.
What is the 96?
Oh, the character count.
Oh, okay.
You're limited to 140 characters on Twitter. Now, the other big one. The other big one for Siri, and I use this one all the time, is Siri can now finally launch apps. So I can say, Oh, sorry. Hello. You're still thinking about something. Launch the MacGroup TV app. And there it is. So if you have apps you know the name of, and you don't know what folder you left them in, you can actually have Siri just launch it. You still won't know what folder it's in, but you can launch it.
But you don't need to.
Right.
Jared,
Yep.
I got this. When does Michigan play Ohio State and where?
When does Michigan play Ohio State? The where will be our answer.
The Wolverines Buckeyes game is November 24th, 2012 at 12 p.m.
Now, does that?
It says away and home.
Away and home. Okay, there you go. Away.
Next to Wolverines it says away, next to Buckeyes it says home.
So at the Buckeye Stadium.
Ask who won the last presidential debate.
Not on your life. Now, but you can do historical information about these things that it can do. So, for example, which movie won Best Picture for 2010?
Here's Edward Locke, which won the Oscar for Best Picture in 2010.
So, you want to settle an argument. You can do it a lot quicker now. All right, so Siri, have a lot of fun. There's lots of things that you can ask, and even if it's something that's not built in, like movies and sports and directions and things like that, it will always, if it doesn't know what you're trying to do, it will always offer at the end, search it on the web. So even if you're just trying to do a search for something that you know Siri can't do, it will search the web for it. So let me play with this question for a minute. Who won the last presidential debate? If it comes up with an answer, I'm going to die.
Checking my sources.
If that doesn't work, ask the would you like me to search?
Yeah, so see, it doesn't know. So it's saying, I'll search the word for you. It's just as if you had typed that into Google. It's going to come up with all the Google stuff. Everyone's going to say one thing or another, right? Okay, so that's Siri. Lots of useful things. And by the way, the app launch, I would say the two things I use the most, three things I use the most. App launching, having it set alarms, and just looking up information. Because to me, it's faster to have it, even if it can't find it built in, to say it and then have it search the web for me, which is faster than me bringing up the Google app, which I can also ask to search something for me.
Pardon me for interrupting. I told you at the last meeting this great Siri accident that happened. I just wanted, if I
Remember. Yeah.
Call my wife. Give it a second.
Which wife?
Which is why you should not have duplicate entries for the same person in your address.
Okay, so when you ask Siri for a piece of information like that, call my sister or call my wife or call my dad, if you don't already have that person identified in your card as your sister, wife, or dad, Siri will ask who. And then once you tell it who that person is, then it will identify that person from now on as your wife, sister, or dad. Yes, it will work with Bluetooth. I do it in my car all the time. So for example, this isn't new, but it's just one of the ones I do every day. Wake me at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, it's set for 7 a.m.
Didn't have to find the clocks app. Didn't have to, you know, find the alarms and find the one for 7 and turn it on. That was faster.
You didn't even need to sleep tomorrow. If you
Right.
just said wake me at 7
7
a.m.
a.m. Yeah, because it's already after 7 a.m. Yes.
Show me my alarms.
Show me my alarms.
Here are your alarms.
I have lots of them. Okay.
Can you play the sound of the alarm to check to see what the sound is?
No, not from Siri.
What is the sound? Like a ringing or?
It's whatever you set it to when you set up the alarm. Which now, by the way, in iOS 6, you can set your alarms to songs. Will it do what? Yes. Set a timer for 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes and counting.
All right, and I can get out of it and it will alarm in 30 minutes. And you can say, you don't even have to say a time. I can say, wake me in 2 hours. And it will figure out 2 hours from now and sound an alarm in 2 hours.
Sure. I just, I haven't dealt with that at all yet, so what you showed me is really interesting. I went in on my brain like it, and I went into general and set Siri on, but I'm not seeing any microphone anywhere.
Hold the home button down.
Please don't tell me I have to answer my security questions.
That's the first thing Siri will ask you when you hold the home button down. All right.
If you're in another country, will it automatically reset, or you have to go in and reset where you are, and therefore adjust all of your alarms?
No, it knows where you are by your time zone settings of what you set up in your settings. So, and Siri also now has local search for some countries. Okay, so we can spend all day on Siri. Let's move on.
One little bit of info, you can say what's new, it'll bring up all the, it'll bring up the new commands for the new under OS 6. I discovered that yesterday.
That's a new one. That's a good one. What's new?
I've learned a few new tricks. Here's
Nice.
what I can do now.
And it's funny because this screen comes up the first time you use Siri. And then I was like, how do I ever see that again? So thank you. I never knew how to get back to that. So, wow. Siri's learned quite a bit.
Jerry, do you ever tell her thank you?
I have.
I could say, don't swear at it, because one time he came up and said, Paul, watch your mouth.
Okay. All right, so play with Siri. It's fun entertainment. So now, when iOS 6 was being introduced and I was watching the keynote, and they talked about all these new features, and I thought, cool, you know, oh, that's great. That'll be nice. That'll be great. There's one feature that I absolutely flipped over. I mean, this is so simple, so basic, so like, why didn't it have this all this time when my old Trio phone had it years ago? I travel internationally all the time. Everyone that knows me doesn't know where I'm at all the time. So they call me at what they think is a reasonable hour, which could easily be 3 a.m. wherever I am. Now, obviously, I could turn the phone off and not receive any calls. But if I turn the phone off, I'm not receiving any calls, including some which could be emergencies or family situations or whatever. So I even went as far as to set up a Google Voice number and had that one with the Do Not Disturb feature that would only ring when certain people call, and I went through all this just to avoid that issue. Finally, iOS 6 has a Do Not Disturb feature. So when you go to your settings, there it is. It says Do Not Disturb. Under settings. When you tap Do Not Disturb on or off, you are physically just turning it on and off for that moment. Now, if you actually, here, let's do this. If you go into, thank you. You go into notifications, you have do not disturb settings. So with the do not disturb settings, you can set up a regular schedule that it will automatically turn on and turn off. And more importantly, allow calls from. That's the key feature. That is a group that you can set up. It defaults to your favorites. It figures if someone's your favorite that you don't mind getting a call from them at 3 a.m. I do. So I set up a call list. I set up a group called Can Disturb or whatever I called it. Yeah, Can Disturb. The people I put in that list, my phone will ring if Do Not Disturb is on. But no one else, the phone will not ring. It'll just go to voicemail. You will not get any alerts while you're in Do Not Disturb, including text messages. So no alerts whatsoever while you're in Do Not Disturb, except phone calls from the people on that list.
When you turn on your phone, you'll get them as they came in.
Sure, you'll get all the notifications on your screen and all that, but it will not make a sound. It will not vibrate either, which is the other thing. People say, oh, just put your phone on vibrate. You don't think I hear the buzzing in the middle of the night when it vibrates? I do. Yeah, it won't light up the screen, won't do any of that. So that is my #1 favorite feature of iOS 6 because it's the one I'm going to use the absolute most. Now, they did even a more clever thing that I would have never thought of. You can, I don't turn it on, but you can turn on repeated calls. What that means is, while I'm in Do Not Disturb, if someone calls who's not on the list, call and hang up and call right back, it will let that call come through. Because usually when someone does that, they're really trying to get in touch with you for a reason. Because they don't just, otherwise they just call and leave a message. If they call, hang up when they get your voicemail and call you right back, for whatever reason they think it's urgent and they're trying to get in touch.
Want you to vote no on property.
Yes. Hence why I don't have that feature turned on. But you can turn on the repeated call so someone, if they call you twice back to back, will bypass your list.
Terry, on that schedule, does that schedule applies to the local time zone you're
Local time zone you're in, which is even better.
If
So.
If you turn off the call, do you have a call list when you turn it on in the morning?
Just like anything else. Just like I have the one down there at the bottom that says I have one call that I missed. So it would say 10 or 15 that I missed. Yes, and it will also be on your notification center as well. So anything that I missed will be there in the notification center. Okay. So Do Not Disturb, my favorite new thing. Next, let's go to Safari. And we know about Safari, it's the web browser, bookmarks and all that. But one thing I talked about last month at Mountain Lion, I'll show it here on the phone. When you go to bookmarks, if you have iCloud set up on more than one device, you will have, iCloud Tabs. See that folder up there that says iCloud Tabs? When I tap that folder, it will show me whatever sites I left open on my other devices. So if my computer is at the bottom there, it says open on Terry's MacBook Pro Retina display, and I left open 4 sites. If I want to get to this one site, I just tap it and it loads that one site right now on this device. So your tabs are synced in Safari between all your devices. So if you were browsing something on your phone, you get home and it's like, what was that site I was on my phone? You don't have to pick up the phone. You can go right to your tabs in Safari and see it on your desktop as well, or on your iPad.
Is the device on sleep, hibernating?
It was where you last left it. So my device, right now I'm logged out of that account, and it still showed me those 4 tabs on this computer.
If you shut that device off,
Yes, but it caches it for a while because I notice it will eventually go away. I don't know what the time limit is on how long it keeps it. But the device does not have to be on and running currently for you to see those tabs, because mine isn't. Okay, and where are we at on time? Good, we're on time. And let's do... Now, they updated the App Store. And I actually don't like it. It's not so much I don't like it. It doesn't work as well as the old one did. Let's put it that way. So here's the new App Store. They kind of gave it this, you can swipe left and right and see the new and noteworthy. And so that's kind of nice to be able to do that. What I don't like is when you go to updates, right now it says I have no updates. Okay, I don't. But what I have found is that sometimes I do have updates, and this will not refresh. And there's no refresh button on this. So what I normally have to do is quit out of it, double click the home button, close the App Store app, go back in, click on it, and that forces it to refresh. That drives me crazy. Because the old one, I didn't have to do that. It just worked. But the layout, some people are complaining about they don't like the layout. I don't really care one way or the other. I don't spend a lot of time looking at this layout to care enough. But it's now more horizontal than it was before vertical. So,
I'm just looking at mine here and it's update. You've got search and update. Mine has updates and I've got 2 and it's marked in a red circle. And when I click the 2, it takes me to the page, and on the page at the top, I click update all.
correct.
So you can't do it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yes, when you have updates and it knows I have them, but sometimes those updates, like you had 2 that were waiting for, let's say I had 2 that were waiting for me, sometimes it doesn't show those 2. And I have no way to say, show me those 2 that I know I have waiting for me, because I saw them on my computer or I saw them on another device. I've had that often, where it doesn't update regularly. Say that again?
Genius does something similar. Is that if you go through and say not interested on any applications that are similar to ones you already uploaded, it doesn't always remember that.
Yeah.
You close the app, open it back up again, and show you the same stuff.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. So if I go down here and I say I'm not interested in this contacts app, it doesn't remember that. And now it's not even letting go. There, now it crashed. Okay. So I think the App Store app will get some kind of update in the 601 update whenever that comes out, because it's not all there. Okay, there's something new on the iPad in iOS 6 in addition to all that we just talked about.
You did purchase rather than have to exit.
No, purchase is at the top as a thing I can go to.
But if you did that.
Yeah, I did that and come back. It doesn't do it. I've tried, trust me, I've tried refreshing this thing all kinds of ways. And the only way I've found to be reliable is quitting the app and bringing it back up. And then it goes out and looks. And if they aren't going to look every time, then give me a refresh button. Either one. Because the old one looked every time. Okay, on the iPad, what's new is there's a new clocks app, which I don't know where I put it. The iPhone has always had a clocks app. There it is right there on the left, third row, first icon. But for whatever reason, the iPad never had one. And people gave all their arguments as to why it didn't need one, and I'm like, why not? And people like to justify things that Apple does or doesn't do. But anyway, it's here now. There's a 4th icon at the top row there, clocks. And it's kind of cool. It gives you a nice world time display. You can customize whatever clocks you put at the top. You can do alarms. You can do stopwatch. You can do timer. Gee, yeah, no one would find that useful. I'm being sarcastic because obviously we can use this. I don't know why people were defending that it wasn't there all these years, but I'm happy, all these years. I'm happy that's there now. So there is a brand new clocks app that's just when you install iOS 6 on an iPad, you'll automatically have it. You don't have to download it. Okay, and that was it. Those were my new things. Questions?
In notifications, while you were showing us that stuff, I noticed there's Amber Alert and Government Alerts. I've never seen those before.
Where?
Under notifications.
Where? I didn't scroll, so how'd you see it? If you saw it on yours. I never scroll down here. And I still don't see it.
It's right below the not in notification center section.
Jim, what carrier do you have?
Sprint.
It's probably carrier based. They got
I don't have it.
He's on AT&T. Okay. The carriers have different ones.
Okay. Any other questions in the back?
The talk and search option with the search, is it still AT&T only?
Say that again. Oh, talk and surf. So the question was the ability to be able to talk on the phone and still be able to do stuff with data. Is that still only AT&T? Yes. It is not. We have Verizon iPhone 5s over there. It still doesn't work. No, does not. So, go ahead. Well, before we go on to something, confirm yes or no, Verizon iPhone users, you cannot talk and surf at the same time. Was she on Wi-Fi? Ah, okay. Cannot talk and do cellular data at the same time. You can do Wi-Fi all you want.
Is that going to be an LTE thing that when service is better than always all, or is it a hardware issue?
It is a hardware issue until Verizon does something about it. So what I've heard through the grapevine is that because there are some phones that can do it. But what those manufacturers have done is added another antenna that allows it. That's the layman terms that I've heard. But Apple didn't do it because Verizon said that they would fix it on their end. Whatever that means and whenever that means, we don't know. So currently, an iPhone on Verizon cannot talk and surf cellular data at the same time. Wi-Fi data? Sure, because you're not doing cellular data at that point. Okay, now, 2 features you missed, or I missed.
Two features, better microphone, better speaker on the iPhone 5.
Yes, the speaker is louder. It actually got louder on the 4S than it was on the 4, and now it's louder on the 5 than it was on the 4S. And yeah, I mentioned that. So, or if I didn't, I forgot to mention it. Better rear camera for low light, much better front-facing camera for FaceTime and taking pictures of yourself because now it's HD as opposed to the previous one being VGA. Yes?
Does the telephone have a discrimination as far as microphone?
What do you mean discrimination?
From discriminate meaning...
Oh, ambient noise, yeah. It has multiple microphones to take care of ambient noise while you're talking on the phone.
Is there a way to downgrade the phone from iOS 6 to 5.1?
Is there a way to downgrade from iOS 6 back to iOS 5, whatever? I don't know. Other than
Accidentally, I have the old phone and I've got the new operating system. It seems to be working, but it doesn't have all the features. Just wondering if it's going to be bad for my phone.
Okay, well, if it's working, then it's not bad for your phone. But Bill said restore the phone using your iOS 5.
You would have to get a copy.
Yeah, you'd have to have an iOS 5 download that you already had or find one on your computer and restore it. No, I'm saying to get back to 5, you'd have to restore it. If you want to get back to 5, you don't have to. Yes.
Someone I was talking to who has a black phone and has turned it in 5 times says that it scratches very easily.
Yep.
But the white phone doesn't because the black phone has a paint or a coating.
I've heard the same thing.
Have you felt this and is it bothering you?
Okay, so question was, I hear or my friend or someone turned in their black iPhone 5 because they complained that it got scratched very easily. I have heard the same thing. I don't have a single scratch on here because I keep it in the case. So, if you are unprotected, yes, it will potentially scratch off the black and show you the aluminum underneath. The white iPhone doesn't seem to scratch as easily, from what I hear. I have not seen or experienced any scratches on mine to date.
I got my phone the first day at the Somerset store, and you the guy in front of me, when they took it out of the box, it was scratched.
Ah, yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky to be in somebody's very cross country store, and then that was a brand new one.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, where some are scratched the minute you take it out of the box. They're already scratched. Pre-scratched. An iOS 6, an iPhone 5.1 feature. Pre-scratching.
Passport, I'm still not sure how I know which app I have will go in there, how to add it.
Say that again?
I want to use Passport, but I don't know how to add something to it or which one. If I have a Starbucks app, how I put it in Passport.
Okay, so if you have an app that supports Passbook,
You just know if I file an error or
well, there's a list. So first of all, if you go to, if you go back to the App Store, I'm not mirroring anymore, hang on. We're mirroring, hello. There we go. So if you go back to the App Store and you go back to the featured and you scroll over, you will see apps for Passbook right there. And that will show you the list of all the apps that support Passbook to date. Okay, so once you have one of these apps, for example, Target, which I have on here already, you can tap Get Mobile Coupons, for example, and there will be, okay, there it is, Add to Passbook. So now if I say Add to Passbook, it will create a coupon and add it to my Passbook. And I can click Add and put it in my little Passbook. And now when I go to On the Road and I go to Passbook, there's the Target one, and there's a coupon to be scanned at the register.
Is that the expiration date on it?
That is the expiration date on it. Oh, now I get to show you the cool feature I didn't have a chance to show because I didn't want to delete any. So now let's say that coupon is expired or I don't want it anymore, or like my boarding pass from United, once I was done with the flight, I didn't need it anymore. I want to get rid of it because it doesn't auto-delete out of Passbook. So when you're ready to delete it, you tap the little I in the bottom right-hand corner of that particular coupon. That will flip it over, and then you can say, you can tap the little trash can in the upper left-hand corner, and that will shred it. So now, it's gone out of Passbook. Okay, so now that particular one is gone out of my Passbook. Any other questions? Yes?
Did anyone see a performance degradation when upgrading a iPhone 4 to the new iOS 6?
4 to iOS 6, anyone? iPhone 4 to iOS 6. Oh, by the way, iPhone 5 feature that I didn't mention that I am very jazzed about. Battery life. Way better than my 4S. Like, because normally, I mean, I've gone through all the phones. I've had each one. Battery life has been either a little better, a little worse. Didn't care. This one, going from 4S to 5, significantly, noticeably better. Whereas my phone usually will last all day, depending on what I'm doing. But let's say by the end of the day on the 4S, I might be down to 30, maybe even 20% or less. This one, I'm 50, 60%.
Is there a way to
So,
check for that?
to check what? Besides the icon, no. I mean, the icon is, well, I have the percentage thing turned on, which you can't see. You can see it on the iPad. So you can turn on a percentage indicator, which right now is telling me my iPad's at 20% in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, so that I have definitely saw an improvement from the first time actually, from one model phone to the next. Whereas in the past, it's always maybe felt a little better or felt a little worse. But now this one actually can see a big difference.
You use your iPad charger to charge the phone twice as fast.
Yeah, because it's 10 watts versus 5. So your iPad, what he's saying is your iPad charger will charge your iPhone faster than your iPhone charger because it's higher voltage, yes. Or higher wattage. Higher output. Are the new adapters readily available? No. I was in the store the other day over the weekend and they still didn't have any in stock. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it depends. As of this past weekend, no. It depends on the store. But I would imagine within the next week, because now they're shipping, they should be available.
Maybe want to find out, I went in to buy the adapter, they didn't have it, but they had the cord, which is actually better, I didn't even know, because it's kind of as long as the adapter, but it's a long cord. You're called two different things.
Well, and also the cord's $10 more. So yeah, if you're willing to pay $40 for it, yeah, you get the cord and the adapter.
Yeah, but the earphones, you didn't touch on those, the earphones.
Oh, I did a review of that on Mac News. I didn't know I should bring it up again. But yes, the new ear pods, which are in one of these pockets here, somewhere, or maybe not. No, I didn't bring them. The new ear pods. Okay, as I'll just quote my review. All the earbuds that Apple did on every iPod, iPhone, or whatever were either painful for me, especially the original ones, or just okay. The original ones were like literally I ripped them out of my ears because they hurt so bad. Now they made them a little smaller as time went on, made them a little better. And I never really was crazy about Apple's earbuds, so I bought, thank you. So here they are. So I bought Apple's more expensive ones, the in-ear earbuds. Those I really like because you get 3 cushion sizes and they fit better, they're comfortable, they sound great. These are better than those to me. So in other words, these that come with your iPhone are only $29 to me are better now than the ones that cost $79 from Apple. Because they're no longer a circle. Duh. Your ear inside is in a circle. Why did they think that would work all this time? This one is actually shaped more comfortably to fit in your ear. So, giant improvement over the last ones, over all the previous generations. Okay. Time to go.